I've read a lot of Stoic books, and for the most part of my life, or the for the better part of my 20s, I followed Stoicism rigorously. I was like this. I was trying to be a paragon of a sage that Stoicism idolizes, becoming more like the gods. But Stoicism to me is it's an old man's philosophy. This is not a philosophy you should be following if you want to go somewhere in life. Because Stoicism inherently is pacifist. You don't get what you want by being a pacifist. You don't get what you want by being weak. You have to have that drive in you to get what you want. To me, all these Stoic people, right? Epictetus, Seneca, Marcus. Isn't it funny that the two biggest Stoic philosophers, Marcus and Seneca, they were all rich people? This is like an end of life philosophy. Once you retired type of philosophy. Marcus sits in his high throne and he says, "Oh, we shouldn't be doing this. Oh, we shouldn't be doing that." He's writing on his journal as a means of speaking to himself, but you have to remember, this is not a relatable guy to us normal people. He has to worry about being an evil man. Brother, you are an emperor. You are already an evil man. You don't get to be an emperor by being quote unquote a good person. If you want to rule over empires, if you want to keep your people safe, you have to have some violence in you. You have to have the capability of commanding an army. What does Marcus say? He says the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. This is such a pacifist take. Are you seriously going to tell me that if someone punched you in the face, you're going to let that happen? You're just going to take it? That's exactly my point. The guy is well into his 50s and he's like, you're not going to fight anyone in your 50s if you punch back. More or less, this guy's an emperor. If someone tries to be violent towards him, he has a whole army in his command. And I will read a passage from one of these Stoic books. It is also not a good idea to venture on profanity. If it happens and you aren't out of line, you may even criticize a person who indulges in it. Otherwise, signal your dislike of his foul language by falling silent, showing unease, or giving him a sharp look. Brother, how old are you? Giving him a sharp look. This reminds me of that Captain America scene. Who someone cusses and then Captain America is like, language. Like, are you for real? You're telling me to restrain my speech and not say what I'm thinking? I respect a person who speaks their mind, even if it's wrong, even if it's offensive. Words are there to be discussed and spoken. I'm not giving you sharp looks for uttering some words. We're not in middle school. This is why I prefer Nietzsche compared to Marcus Aurelius, or any Stoic philosopher for that matter, except maybe Epictetus because he was a slave. But then the guy was saying to his master, if you keep twisting my leg that way, it's going to break. This is a philosophy for people who are not capable of violence in their being. If you want to be a man, you have to have that. In my previous videos, I told you, if you want to be a man, you have to have that edge in you. You have to have that grit, that gumption. You're going to tell me if someone comes all up in your personal space, you're going to be like, I'm sorry, can you get away? No, you're going to be on high alert. You're going to try to defend yourself if anything happens. This is why I love Nietzsche's philosophy more. I'm sorry. I don't want to be one of those edgy guys who says, oh, Nietzsche this, Nietzsche that. But seriously, take a look at it. Think about it. You have to create your own values. You have to reject idols. You have to live life in its fullest form, pleasures and pains. You have to navigate through the fabric of chaos and become the Ubermensch, the Overman, the Superman. Why would anyone reject the idea of becoming the Superman, the Ubermensch, creating your own values, creating your own morals, and applying these values and morals into your own life to get what you want? You have to become dangerous. Stoicism says, don't be a dangerous man, be a pacifist. Because anything that happens to you, that's just life. That's life. We will just use Stoicism to deal with it. Nietzsche says, no, become dangerous. Have that violence in you, because you cannot be a good man if you aren't capable of dealing violence, first and foremost, which correlates with me a lot. And I do martial arts, right? I'm capable of hitting someone. I know where it hurts, and I have the ability to do so. So if I choose not to hurt you, that means I'm doing it out of my own self-control. If you choose not to hurt someone, you're doing it because you're incapable of violence. How are you going to protect your family if you're incapable of violence? How are you going to defend yourself if you're incapable of violence? You should be able to end someone's life and hold a baby the same day. This shows the oscillation of you being able to cause great harm, but also to nurture life that's just being born. A baby. A baby is the most innocent thing in the world. And ending a man's life is the most extreme end of violence. You should be able to do both things at the same day and regulate yourself. You shouldn't be like, oh, this man's coming to hurt my family. It killed my family. Maybe I should just let it go because it's life. My philosophy tells me I shouldn't be a violent man. Stoicism in general is a philosophy for all men and for pacifists. If you want to get something done in your life, you should be following more of a Nietzschean philosophy. Stoicism says those who are violent are often acting out of ignorance of what is truly good, and therefore should be met with understanding rather than vengeance. I'm just gonna sit here for a bit because what is that? Are you seriously willing to let someone hurt you and then in turn you say, they didn't know better? They hurt me out of their own ignorance. Or are you going to defend yourself? You're not going to defend yourself because half of these people do not have the capable. I shouldn't say that. Marcus was an emperor. But Epictetus, he let his master break his leg. He didn't even have the braveness to dive headfirst into a wall and crack his head open. He wanted to live as a slave. And now tell me, is this something, or is this a philosophy that you want to follow? To be a pacifist? Nothing wrong with being a pacifist or being a peaceful man, but just know there's someone out there who will get ahead of you because they're willing to cheat, they're willing to lie, they're willing to cause harm, be a violent person, and you'll just be taking the blunt end of the stick. But if that's your prerogative, then so be it. But to me, if you want something, you have to go get it.